Hey, Nighthawks!
We're academic coaches at UNG,
and we spend our days in coaching conversations,
talking all about your success in college,
the tough moments, the little wins,
understanding your strengths and the skills you need to thrive.
We're here to share real coaching moments,
offer you practical strategies,
and simple steps that you can apply today.
We believe you have what it takes to succeed at UNG,
and we're cheering you on every step of the way.
This is Nighthawk Coach Talk. Hey Nighthawks, welcome back to Nighthawk Coach Talk. We are so excited you are here. And today we are joined again by Lori Clemens, our career specialist on Dahlonega. Hey Lori.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
We are glad you're here, and we talked all about resume building last time.
Mm-hmm.
Got some really good tips about just leaning into career services. They're here to support you. Easy to book an appointment on any of our campuses. And we talked a lot about like helping yourself stand out in the resume process, because that's like one of the first things employers see from you.
Oh, definitely.
And so kind of the next step of that is you have an awesome resume, you got an interview, and now what do? That's scary.
Panic. No.
No, don't panic. Don't do that.
Don't panic. Yeah, and the resume, the point of the resume is to get you to the interview.
Yeah.
So
congratulations, actually.
Yeah. It is an accomplishment to make it that far, because I know if anyone is in the job search right now and they're putting out 50, 100, 200 resumes, and if you haven't received a call, to get a call is already an accomplishment. It really is. And that's where we need to make sure that you really do a lot of preparation in advance, because now they're going to be asking you those in-depth questions and learning more, not only about you, but also how do you add to their team? How are you adding value to the company? And can they see you working with the people that are already there? Yes. How are the personalities going to get along? Are there any caution flags that maybe they are already seen, but they're like, well, let's give them a try. You won't know this walking in. You don't know what kind of situation you're walking into. So all you really can do is prepare yourself as best as you possibly can.
Absolutely.
And the interview is where you're going to either get or not get the job.
Yeah.
And when you're working on your resume and you're doing your job search, usually what we'll do if someone says, "Oh, I'm not finding a job," the first thing we'll do is, okay, are you at least getting interviews? If you're getting interviews, the resume is doing its job. If you're not getting interviews, we'll say, okay, let's look at the resume. If you're getting the interview but not getting the job, then we'll say, okay, what's going on in the interview? How are you answering? How are you presenting yourself? Now, there are times where it's out of your control.
Absolutely.
They may already have someone in mind and they're going through the steps because they have to.
Or there might be someone who is much more qualified and they just had to interview so many people. There could be a lot of other factors.
Yeah. And there are some people that just interview very well.
Yes.
They know how to present themselves. They know how to instantly click with other people. There are some things that has nothing to do with how great you are, or did you do the XYZ? Maybe you did too much of XYZ. Don't overanalyze. You'll make yourself crazy.
Absolutely.
All you can do is say, I did the best that I could. I did everything within my power. It wasn't the right opportunity for me. And there have been times where I've had to swallow that gigantic pill as well. And you're just like,
yes.
And honest to goodness, the opportunities that I have not gotten actually turned out to be for the best.
I agree.
It really did. Yeah. I mean, it sounds so cliche and it sounds so, but honest to goodness, there were jobs that once I found out what they were and I ended up in something else, I was like, oh, thank goodness. I am so glad that did not work out. I would have not liked that job.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So say, okay, well, at least I made it to the interview. So again, the resume is doing its job. Either what's going on in the interview, are these jobs maybe too advanced, too entry level? Where are you in your career? So there's a lot of moving parts, lots of variables, and we may never be able to exactly pinpoint, but maybe we can brush up on something. And that's what we try to figure out in career services is where's the disconnect and how can we help you move to that next step and secure the job? Because our whole job is to make sure you're successful.
Yeah.
If you're not successful, then we feel like, oh no, what's going on? What do we need to do? And so we try to help make sure you're as successful as you possibly can be.
Absolutely. So you mentioned a lot about preparing for the job interview, and I feel like that's almost just as important, if not more important, than the job interview. So what does it look like to prepare?
And, well, a couple of different things. First of all, I mean, even just very simply, go to the company website.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. Their mission, their values. What products or services?
Yes.
And we had a student who was interning with a company that made basically little widgets that went inside a motor. The first question was, what do you know about our company? Because it's not a product you would buy. It's nothing you would ever see. They wanted to know, did you do your homework? Are you serious about this?
My first job interview, actually, right out of college, it was for an elementary school, and I had looked on their website, and I had done some digging, and I probably spent way too long on their website, but
yeah, no such thing.
I went into that interview, and it was one of the last questions. They were like, what are you most excited about to join our school? And I pulled something from their website. It was about their literacy, mission, and it was like a newsletter or something, and so that's what I mentioned, and they were like, where did you find that?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, it was on your website. And they were like, oh my gosh, we haven't done that in a little while. We need to get back to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, it made me feel so prepared and so on top of it. And I think that was just one of the most amazing things I did was look at their website and just get to know the school before I walked in.
Yeah, and then you're memorable.
Yes.
In a good way.
And I got the job.
Yeah, see, there you go.
That was it right there.
Yeah. And you can also look at their social media. Do they have a LinkedIn? Do they have an Instagram or YouTube? Whatever they may have. How do they reward their employees? Are they involved in the community? Do they? I remember one company said in the summers they get Fridays off.
Oh.
I was like, oh.
Where is this company?
It was an accounting firm. I don't do math.
No, me either.
Yeah.
Darn it.
Yeah. But, you can learn some of these things about the company beyond what's on the website. And like you said, you can bring up something you found in your research. And one of the things I always recommend is, you'll take like a little padfolio with you, right? And not necessarily like a portfolio that has all your work, but it's a little notebook that has a pad of paper in there, extra copies of your resume, your any letters of recommendation, your references. But on that pad of paper, you're going to have a couple of things. One, write down 3 or 4 things that really stood out to you in your research, such as a literacy program, such as something you found on their social media. Write those 3 or 4 things down. So when they ask, why do you want to work here? Why are you interested in this position? What do you know about our company? Any of those number of questions to determine, did you do your homework?
Yes.
Is this important to you? You can refer to your notes, and that's perfectly fine. When I was doing my research, these were the things that really stood out to me, and I thought this was really impressive, and I wrote it down. One, it's one less thing you have to memorize. True. Especially if you are going to several interviews. You don't want to mix up your companies.
Oh, true. That's a great idea.
It'd be bad.
Yeah.
And it helps with your nerves if you're one of those that when you get nervous,
yep,
you can't remember anything. You've never done anything. And so it just really helps you to calm your nerves a little bit. It's a little bit of a safety net there. Yes. And you'll have your resume there. You can refer back to it, especially if they say, well, in this job, you said, oh, yes, I did. Help remind yourself. And then you, of course, want to have questions ready for the employer as well. Because usually at the end, do you have any questions for us? And the answer is always yes.
Here they are.
You only need maybe about 4 or 5. You only need to ask maybe 2 or 3. I always recommend have 4 or 5 just because what if they already answer what you were going to ask?
Yes.
You, of course, don't want to use that question.
Yes. Then it was like you weren't listening.
Yeah, you weren't paying attention. And you don't want to make it seem like you're now interrogating them, but you are interviewing that company. Take a look around. How are people interacting with each other? Are they on time with their communication? How are they treating you? Are they giving you clear instructions? Do they greet you at the door? All of these things will start to give you some signs as to, do you want to work there or
Absolutely.
not? Because sometimes there are some red flags. And I don't know about you, but for me, I've had some interviews where I thought, please don't hire me. I'm going to turn you down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't call me.
In the interview one time, this is probably not would not recommend, but I was like, I think that I don't know that this fully aligns with what I'm hoping to, where I'm hoping to go. And because I realized this was just not the job I wanted. And I just kind of closed that door right then. And
well, you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste their time. And sometimes it's, I don't think this is a good match for either of us. I think we can go ahead and stop right now.
Yeah.
And sometimes that happens. What was written in the job description, and then when you get there and they say, actually, this is what you're going to be doing, and if it's something you don't want to do, it's okay to say, it's not what I thought it was going to be. Thank you so much for the time. That you always be professional. Yeah, very respectfully. Thank you so much for your time, your consideration. I really appreciate it. Maybe in the future there'll be something more aligned with my career goals and my skill sets. But at this time, I don't think that would match. I don't think that's a good fit. And that's okay. I mean, it's disappointing. I'm sure they'll be disappointed. You'll probably go, oh, man.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to find yourself in a job that you're in way over your head.
Yep.
Where you could get fired because you don't know what's going on.
Yes.
Or where you'd be miserable because it's just not the right culture for you. And every office and every department and every company has a different energy and a different feel. And you got to make sure you're happy where you are to the best of your ability. Yeah.
Absolutely. So when we think about preparing, definitely getting to know the company, looking on their website, social media. If you know people that work there, even talking to them. Oh,
definitely, yeah.
And then I love that you mentioned coming in with a padfolio with copies of your resume, references, questions that you have for them, and maybe like a few pointers about or a few things you noticed about the company.
Yeah.
Anything else you would do to prepare?
Oh, yeah. Practice.
Oh, yes.
Practice. you need to practice out loud. For myself, when I get really nervous, I love to conduct interviews and I love interview coaching. I do not like to be interviewed.
That's fair.
I get very nervous. My hands get all sweaty. I'm doing the rubbing on my legs, trying to think. I do not enjoy it. I really wish I could just say, just hire me. I applied, just hire me. It's not how the game is played. It's just not how the game is played. And you want to practice out loud. In my head,
I sound great.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it's perfect in here.
It is.
And then sometimes these two things don't connect with each other. And that's when I tend to trip over my words. I use a lot of uhs and ums. Especially once I start, I can't stop. And when you practice taking a breath instead of
Yes.
Because that's what we're doing. We're trying to wait for our brain and our mouth to catch up to each other. That's why we have the filler words. But when you practice and get comfortable, slowing down a little bit, having your memory also refreshed, right? So we were talking earlier about how to write your resume and remembering what you've done. Well, now you have to remember what you've done on the spot.
Yes.
In the moment. We don't have time to just stare at the cursor.
What did I do?
We have to be on our toes and ready to go. And when you practice, you may still be very nervous. You may have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. But it will be easier for you. It will be maybe a little less stressful. And at least you've prepared. And again, you can have some of those notes in advance. You can have your resume there with you. So you've got a little bit of a safety net, but practicing out loud. And also, how do you come across? Do you have any nervous tics? I've had people play with their hair. If they're in a swivel chair, doing this the whole time, just swiveling. They may bounce their knee up and down very rapidly, and then their whole body is shaking. And sometimes people just don't realize it. It's a coping mechanism. And you need someone who has not met you or who doesn't know you as well, that I can pick up on your eye contact is lacking. Let's practice maybe looking at an ear or above the eye, so at least it can get close. Maybe you have a nervous movement where you're constantly using your hands excessively. How do we plant that on your lap as best as possible, or on the table as best as possible? It's okay to move your hands. We just don't want to be knocking things over. It's little things like that, but that will come out when you practice. So by all means, you practice with friends, family, colleagues, but of course career services, because we're looking at it from a different angle and we don't know you as well. We're not going to give you as many passes or excuses. A family member or a loved one may be like, oh, well, I know what they meant. And I will sit here going, I have no idea what you're talking about. and we will, of course, coach you through it. Our job is not to tear you down. What would be the point of that?
You want students to be successful. That's not going to make anybody successful.
No, we're not going to, tear you into tears. Our job is to help build that confidence, help you succeed, help you get through that, so that you can get the job. I would not be in this job that I'm in if I was there to torture people. and I will say, most people will come for help with the resume. They will not come for help for the interview.
It's scary.
It is scary.
Yeah.
But think of how it's going to be when it's the real thing.
Yeah.
So let's be in a space where you can be comfortable and you can say, oh, that wasn't a good answer. Can I start over? By the way, what are they asking for? Why what do I need to say? That's what we need to do. I mean, we can practice multiple times. I had a student that we met every Friday for about 4 or 5 Fridays in a row.
I love it.
That was our standing appointment. Every Friday we would meet we worked on these 3 or 4 questions. Now we'll work on 3 or 4 more. We'll hash it out. Now we'll practice. We'll brainstorm. And sometimes that's what it takes. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. I love it. I wish I had practiced an interview before I started.
Me as well. I remember the first time I had, I think the only question was, tell me about yourself. And I blew it, and I drove 45 minutes for that interview. Did not get the job.
Oh no.
And I was like, that was the only thing she asked, and I don't even remember what I said. I didn't get that job.
That's okay.
Oh,
Hindsight's 2020.
It's okay. Yeah. I was fresh out of college. I had not practiced.
That's okay.
I didn't know what in the world to expect.
Yeah.
Live and learn. Yeah.
So you mentioned the tell me about yourself question. That is probably the number one question that we hear, and it makes people so nervous. Yeah. So what would you say to a student who's like, I don't know how to answer that question?
Well, and it is a difficult one, because it's like, well, what do you want to know?
Yeah. My family, my extracurriculars, my
favorite color. Yeah. It's really a summary of your education, experience, and skills that pertain to the job.
So not your favorite color.
Not your favorite color.
Darn.
Not that you have siblings. Not that where you grew up. I don't need to know your whole life history. It really is a little bit about your degree. Maybe even why you chose it. What is it about this field that really interests you? Maybe a little bit about what are some of your top skill sets that relate to the job. We don't want to list skills that have nothing to do with the job. What are we talking about here? So that relate to the job. And then also maybe a little bit about why you're excited to be there. What was it about this company or this role that made you say, I want to apply for this? Not just I need a job and...
Please don't ever say that.
No.
I had a student say that to me the other day. Yeah. I needed a job and you were hiring. You're going to pay me. And I was like, oh, no, don't say that ever.
So I know you need a job. I know you need a paycheck. I know you need benefits. Tell me something original.
Tell me why here.
Yeah, why here? Because you can get that. You can get a job. You can get those benefits elsewhere. Why here? Not that it's a close commute.
Yeah.
You know, not that you hope to gain something from it. I want someone who wants to give me something. They want to help my company grow. They want to help my company succeed. How are you going to add value to my team? So that's essentially what Tell Me About Yourself is all about. I want kind of an overview of who you are. It's how a lot of interviews just kind of the icebreaker, right?
Yes.
How do we get started and then roll into more of the details and the specifics? And that's kind of how you want. And you want to have this prepared in advance, not to where it's rote memorization, where it sounds like you're reading off of a script.
Hello, my name is Hannah England.
Yeah. It just, but where it's comfortable and that response may change depending on the role, depending on the employer. So, and because it's so common, they expect you to be ready for it. And some of the other more common ones as well are, of course, what are some of your strengths? You only need about maybe 2 to 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't do more than 2 to 3.
Yeah. If you start going to 5 and 6, now you're rambling.
Yeah.
And you've lost me.
We want to know top 3. What are you most good at?
And 3 is my magic number for most things.
Me too.
It's like just enough, but not too much. And so when you talk about your strengths, give those top 2 or 3 and give me some kind of context. Because if you just say, well, I'm a hard worker, I'm a good team player, and I'm disciplined, I hear that all day long.
What does that look like?
What does a hard worker to you mean? Oh, well, I worked a job that was 30 hours a week, plus I was taking 4 classes, and I was a club president. Whoa. Yeah. What does it mean to be a good team player? Well, when my team member called in sick, I took the initiative to take over their responsibilities. Awesome. I want to hear when someone will jump in because we're short-staffed. I want to hear that. What does that mean that you're disciplined? Do you exercise every day? Do you eat salads? I mean, what do you mean by disciplined? I once had a student who said that he was flexible. And of course, in my mind, I'm thinking like yoga.
Touch your toes.
Yeah. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And he said, well, I thought it just sounded good.
Oh, my goodness.
He said he thought it sounded professional. I said, well, if you're not able to talk about it, don't put it on the resume, don't mention it, because otherwise I'm going to, what do you mean by that? And, then of course some of the other, really popular ones are, what's a weakness?
Yes, we were talking about this. I have never had this question in an interview, but I know it's one of the more common ones.
It really is.
And I've been always prepared for it. I'm like, awesome. I know my top 3. Don't ask me right now.
I was going to say, if they say, can you tell me about a weakness?
Oh, that's one. Yeah. I was thinking if you tell me, can you give me your top 3 weaknesses?
Oh, no, that would be tough.
I'm prepared for them anytime.
Yeah. No, you definitely need to be prepared. But the way I always think about it is, one, we don't want to, how would I say this? Everyone has weaknesses. Everyone has a challenge. We're not perfect. If you say that you're perfect, you're lying. If you say you don't have a weakness, you're lying.
Yep.
What you want to think about is really something that challenges you, something that maybe is a struggle or has been difficult for you. And how have you worked to overcome it, or you're currently working to overcome it?
Absolutely.
So it's not that, because a lot of times people say, well, I don't want to say something that's bad and then I don't get the job. Ooh, a weakness? Or even another one might be, what's a failure or a regret? So anytime they ask something that seems negative, you need to think about, well, what did you learn? How did you improve? And if you can't think of a weakness that you're currently improving upon, maybe something from the past.
Absolutely.
And maybe it was something when you first started college. I'm sure time management is one that a lot of people struggle with when you first start as a freshman. Okay, tell me about that. What did you do to improve on that? Did you start a calendar? Did you block time? Did you have to say no to some things and restructure? What did you do? How did you learn from that experience? If someone asks, what about a failure? Well, okay, you missed the mark on something, but what did you do better the next time? How did you learn from that? That's essentially what I'm trying to figure out. Are you self-aware?
Yes.
That you struggle with something? And can you adapt? Can you learn? Can you do something about it? Or you just go, well, that's just who I am. I'm just always terrible at this and, whatever.
Yeah.
no, that's not going to fly. Yeah, I need to know, what are you actively doing to improve? You don't have to be perfect at it yet.
Absolutely not.
But this is something you're aware of. You know that this is something that's a struggle. Maybe that's the thing you delegate to someone else. If it's something that you aren't the strongest at. That's essentially what they're looking for.
Awesome. Yeah. I always think about like, when I like think about weaknesses, I always think about a strength that's overused. And when you are using your strength too much, sometimes it has that shadow side of a weakness. So like if you're really disciplined and you're on top of things and you have, a plan set out, like too much discipline might look like lack of flexibility.
Too structured.
Yeah. And so maybe kind of coming up with a weakness might be, well, when I am over disciplined, I fail to recognize that sometimes I need to have a little bit of flexibility, and this is what I'm doing to
and this is what you're doing.
This is what we're doing to fix that. Yeah. So those are definitely big, hard questions in interviews. And I know career services will walk through these with you.
Yeah. And we can even just brainstorm. How do you answer this? And then we can work on how to answer things. Especially, I know I've had students who have unfortunately maybe been fired or laid off. How do you talk about that?
That's hard.
Why are you leaving your last job?
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
How would you answer, or how would you help a student answer that question?
Well, I mean, it does depend on what the reasoning is, you know, and a lot of times it could be, again, where can we focus on the positive? Is it that you came to where, maybe there's no more promotion ability and you want to continue growing in your career and there just was nowhere for you to go. And now this next job is the next step up, or maybe you're moving into a company that has more opportunity for upward mobility. Maybe it was a bad work environment. Well, what did you learn from that? Again, we don't have to say it was a bad work environment. We never want to trash talk anyone, ever. I don't care how true it is, ever.
We all have those experiences, but don't bring them up in an interview.
It's maybe just that was not a good match for you, and that you realized you needed to find a company that had the right culture and the right values that really aligned with what was important to you. So there are ways that we can work on these things. And there are times where students have said, well, I messed up. And it's, okay, well, what did you learn from that mistake? And how can we talk about this? And do we even have to talk about this?
True.
It really kind of depends on the situation, but that's what we're here to coach you through all of that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a lot of really good interview advice.
I
feel like we could keep going,
but
I think we've been talking for quite a while. So just to kind of finish up, what would you want students to take away? Like one thing about the job interview or internship interview process?
I would say, really practice and do your research. So I guess that's two.
Okay.
But I'll wrap it into one.
I'll give you two.
I'll wrap it into one. You really do need to practice out loud, and you really do need to research. The research will really stand out.
Absolutely.
It will really differentiate yourself, because everyone that gets to the interview is already fairly equal. There may be some, there's a little bit of wiggle room there, but you all made it to the interview. How are you going to knock their socks off? Because this is where you're really going to impress them. And if it was lackluster, then you find yourself still in the job search, right? And if you can't answer some of the more common questions that you should be expecting, you show that you're not prepared. You show that you're not serious. And it could be just that you were overwhelmed. Maybe you were busy. Maybe you didn't realize. And okay, now we know. Now we know how to work on this. And now we know we need to work on this. So don't beat yourself up too much. And again, you could do everything right and still not get the job.
Yeah.
It happens.
It does.
There may be one position and they're interviewing 20 people.
Yes.
19 are not going to get the job. Yeah. And so we have to come to that realization that, well, that was just not the opportunity for me. It hurts. Give yourself then a break. take a break from your job search. And by a break, I mean like a day or two.
Yeah.
Not a month or two.
No, especially not if you need a job.
No. Yeah. Take a day off. Do something positive with friends, with family. Go watch a movie. Do yoga. Take a walk. Take a nap. Whatever it is that re-energizes you. Eat some ice cream.
Yes, that energizes me.
Yeah, I love it. Whatever it is that can give you at least a little bit of happiness, reset, and go right back at it.
Yes.
You know, because there may not have been anything that you did wrong. It just wasn't the right fit. Yeah, which is not an easy thing to accept.
Not at all.
No.
And I think anybody who knows me, and if you've listened to the podcast before, I say this all the time, but give yourself grace.
Yeah, very much so.
We all deserve grace, and you would give that grace to someone else. And so just be kind to yourself. If you don't get the job or you feel like you left the interview and it was the worst interview ever, give yourself grace. Interviewing's hard. Job searching is hard. And so take time to just reset, reflect, refresh. I like that. Reset, reflect, refresh.
Yeah, there you go.
That's going to be my new motto.
You have to make sure you trademark that.
I will. But enjoy the process. I mean, it's stressful and it's crazy, but enjoy it all along the way and use resources like Career Services who are here to help you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for tuning in for Nighthawk Coach Talk. We wish you all the best in your search for a job, and we would love to chat with you about your job search and how we can support you.